Keith Hilson at the Trombone Shop at Schmidt Music, back with another instrument review for you. And today I've got a little bit of a unique bass trombone, something we haven't had in the shop before, specifically a Yamaha YBL-612. So the 612 is one of the predecessors to kind of the newer generation of Yamaha bass trombones, such as the 622 and then the 822, 830. And so with that, some interesting design features here, but a really interesting playing instrument. So first off, it's a dependent setup. So it's tuned in F, E flat. As we know, several of the Yamaha setups were tuned like this, along with a lot of other makers, before we switched off to the more common F, G flat, and D tuning. So here we've got dependent valves tuned in F and E flat. One of the interesting things with the valve setup here is that we do have the inline paddle system. So kind of we see this more commonly in the King Dual Gravis models and others, but where we've got actually the paddle system here. Now, one of the things, I've played a few of the Dual Gravis models with this kind of setup, and sometimes it can be a little bit cumbersome. Part of this because Yamaha obviously has a lot of experience making saxophones here. The roller system actually is fairly functional. Now, we'll talk a little bit after I play about some of the pluses and minuses with here. But otherwise, this instrument does feature a 10-inch gold press bell, so a little bit bigger gold press bell, standard 562 hand slide on here. So I want to take a little bit of place so you can hear this instrument in action. I'm going to be playing all of this on a standard Bach 2G. So a few things I noticed with the 612 here. First off, I find it really to be, by and large, a very even playing instrument. I think the response and the overall timbre really from the pedal range going up to about F above the staff, so getting up to about the 6 partial, everything sounds very similar. It's very even. It responds really well. Once you get above that 6 partial, I do find it getting quite a bit stuffier, but again, in the long term, outside of a lot of the modern bass trombone literature, we're not often spending a lot of time up there. Overall, actually, the valves feel really good. Whether I'm on the first valve or I'm on both valves there, it's not overly resistant. A couple odd things. I'm more used to the F G flat setup, so obviously, some position differences here with the E flat, setup instead. But the other thing here too is obviously the paddle system here is a little bit awkward. This would be a setup, I think, for a younger bass trombonist, maybe somebody who's not necessarily needing to get into kind of double trigger range, and especially having some of the the quick movement in and out, whether you're on an independent or dependent setup, I can see this not necessarily being that big of a deal. For somebody who's doing a lot of high-level bass trombone playing, I mean, there's a reason we haven't seen the system maintain. There's a reason we've gone to more of the traditional first trigger, second paddle system over here. But I mean, in the scheme of things, it's not terrible. It works, certainly. With that, the one thing I did notice with this is sometimes articulation gets a little bit fuzzy. I have a hard time getting the kind of diction I want, even if I'm trying to think about a nice hard do. It doesn't always speak right away. I think there's a couple reasons for that. It's obviously a very large bell, gold brass. Sometimes that does tend to soften up the articulation a little bit. But overall, again, an impressive instrument. It's something I haven't had experience before, and I think you can see kind of the lineage of the Yamaha bass trombones, how the development they did with their later models, kind of started with what they were doing with this and a few of their others as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video here. As always, if you have any comments about this instrument, please feel free to leave them below. If you like this video, think about giving it a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, think about subscribing to our channel. We're always trying to create new, fresh content for you, and you can always find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So thanks for watching, everybody.